true events actually inspired Netflix's The Waterfront. Creator Kevin Williamson, known for starting the Scream franchise, as well as creating hit shows like Dawson's Creek and The Vampire Diaries, based the crime drama on his life and upbringing in North Carolina. Williamson's real-life family history inspires the show. The series' patriarch, Harlan Buckley, played by Holt McCallany, is very similar to Williamson's father, who was tempted to do things that weren't legal, which got him into trouble. But unlike Harlan, Williamson's dad wasn't a member of a mafia or other organized crime syndicate. In fact, he was a fisherman. The showrunner comes from a long line of fishermen, and in the 1980s, the fishing industry started to disappear from the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So his father turned to running an illegal operation on his fishing trawler, which got him caught. It wasn't until Williamson graduated that he got to see his father. Although telling this personal story was always on Williamson's mind, it was quite difficult to cast the role inspired by his father. But McCallany's deep understanding of the character got him the job. I knew it was a deeply personal story for Kevin, and that I had a crucially important part in that story. I really wanted to do the role justice, he said. McCallany and the other actors weren't only required to live up to Williamson's real family, but also had to relive some of his vibrant childhood recollections. Take episode 1's chilling shark scene, which was inspired by one of the writer's most terrifying childhood experiences. When he was 10, Williamson joined his father and uncle on a boating trip. One morning, they woke to find the water swarming with sharks as far as the eye could see. His uncle even held him over the edge to get a closer look, which left him deeply shaken. The moment stuck with him so powerfully that he knew he'd one day turn it into a scene in his writing. According to actor Melissa Benoist, it didn't take long for the cast of The Waterfront to notice that each character carried elements of Kevin Williamson himself. Belle, portrayed by Maria Bello, reflects his deep admiration for his mother. Peyton embodies his respect for strong, resilient women. And Bree, the emotionally complex Buckley daughter played by Benoist, allowed Williamson to delve into themes of healing and personal transformation. It was all the more motivating and inspiring because Kevin was being so brave and vulnerable with us, Benoist shares. All his actors just wanted to do right by him. During filming, Williamson would frequently point out how the show's locations connected to his earlier work. Humberly Gonzalez, who portrays Jenna, is a self-proclaimed horror fan and recalls these moments fondly. He would say things like, "Do you know where you're sitting? This is where that 'I know what you did last summer' scene happened." He made it such a fan moment for his cast. Brady Hepner plays Diller Hopkins, Bree's teenage son who lives with his father and has a tense relationship with her. Hepner is a North Carolina native, which allowed him to bring 90% of himself into the role. "All of my friends are exactly like this character without the family dynamic," he says. So for him, the character's background was a piece of cake. But finding the character himself, Hepner had to draw on as much as he could from each of the characters that round out his family. When prepping further for his character, he understood that Diller is a very sarcastic character, especially in the beginning. When reading the scripts, he noticed that he gets a lot of that from his uncle, Kane, and his mother. But he also saw a heroic side to Diller that he wanted to lean into. He would think that when Diller rises to the occasion to become the hero in a scene, he'd think, "What would my grandfather Harlan do?" For Hepner, it was especially fun filming in his home state. His favorite part was seeing Wilmington, North Carolina, as a filming ground rather than a one-week family vacation. His favorite places to have filmed were Carolina Beach and Wrightsville Beach, especially after a long 12-hour day shoot. "You can just go sit on the beach and chill out, and that was really special to a lot of people," he says. One of his favorite places was Seabird, a fantastic seafood restaurant that hosted the cast for dinner one night. The southern hospitality you see on the screen is real. Rafael Silva, who plays Sean West, a recently hired bartender at the Buckley's Waterfront restaurant, had to prepare a lot for the role. When Williamson arrived to set sometimes, the only person who would be there would be Silva, behind the bar, whipping up a cocktail under the guidance of a mixologist instructor. Sean isn't yet proficient in the art of a good drink, and neither is Silva, who had to train up until the final day of production on season 1. Silva wanted to bring a level of authenticity to his character that wasn't seen in other roles he's performed. Production hired an instructor to help him learn the basics of making cocktails so that in each scene he was in, he could have something real to make rather than a prop drink. In fact, the idea of the restaurant and bar owned by the Buckleys comes directly from Williamson. "I worked in a restaurant for so many years. A waiter and a bartender, a busboy, a dishwasher, a cook, I've done it all." He always used the restaurant as a backup in case his career never worked out. After spending several months filming in Wilmington, the cast developed a strong affection for the city, matching the enthusiasm of showrunner Kevin Williamson. Their bond extended beyond set, staying connected through a group chat Gonzalez says is humorously named Not Dawson's Creek. During production, they often shared meals and downtime together. There were 3 restaurants that production had them all go to every night. 5 of us would go, and you'd end up seeing someone else there. It was this summer camp vibe, recalls Benoist. She adds, "That city is so beautiful, it's very easy to romanticize." Though Havenport exists only in the world of the waterfront, it was brought to life in real locations across Wilmington and Southport, North Carolina. The setting reflects the cultural feel and atmosphere of the region, something Kevin Williamson knows well. A native of New Bern, he spent his formative years in the state and earned his degree from East Carolina University in Greenville. With such deep personal roots in North Carolina, Williamson always envisioned this story unfolding in a place that felt authentic to his own experiences. So, let's talk about some of the filming locations in North Carolina that make the crime drama feel real. For example, the Buckley's Family Restaurant, at least the exterior, is actually a place called Fishy Fishy Cafe in Southport, North Carolina. Production also used Southport for many other locations to represent the town, like Potter's Seafood, Yacht Basin Drive, and the Southport City Pier. The sheriff's office in the show is actually International Longshoremen's Local 1838. The funeral service for Sheriff Clyde Porter in Episode 4 was held at the Southport Community Building, which was repurposed for the scene. Of course, as mentioned before, Wilmington, North Carolina was used for a ton of locations for the series. The Wilmington Chamber of Commerce was a stand-in for Havenport Hospital. William E. Poole Designs was used for Jenna's family hardware store. Many local businesses were shut down for production, such as Caprice Bistro and Black Cat Shop. The Southern Alliance Bank that appears in Episode 5 of the series is a repurposed Old City Hall portion of Thalian Hall. What was even more exciting, though, is that Williamson felt a sense of nostalgia filming in his home state. Not because he grew up there, but also because several of his projects have. Just a few yards away from the Fishy Fishy Cafe in Southport were the locations for the July 4th parade and the gym where Ryan Phillippe's character is stalked by the fish hook-wielding killer from the 1997 movie I Know What You Did Last Summer. And for fans that are keeping up, yes, the fish hook-wielding killer was inspired by his father's profession. Williamson even remembers one day, after an endless stream of production calls, he decided to wander off into town to clear his head and visit the 1997 movie's most iconic location. "I walked around the corner, and suddenly I'm standing in front of the house where Jennifer Love Hewitt twirled around screaming, 'What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?'" There you have it. In The Waterfront, Kevin Williamson doesn't just tell a dramatic story. He lays his own life into it. By mining his personal history, family trauma, and nostalgia for a vanishing world, he creates something raw, tense, and ultimately rewarding. It's a director's letter to the past and an invitation to the future. It's like Dawson's Creek if everyone grew up to be criminals, Williamson says.
We have to come up with $2 million in less than 3 months.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna take control of things.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like, and stay up to date with our most recent videos.